们觉得为什么现在年轻人越来越不想结婚了？
Why do you think more and more young people don't want to get married these days?
Haha, who wants to get married now? The reason is simple. We've already seen our future and it's set to be like that of a burden. So why bring a child into the world to live the same life? I'll stop at me.
你觉得就是现在生男生女越来越多的原因是什么？
What do you think is the reason why there are more and more leftover men and women?
Men don't have money.
Because men don't have money? What do you mean by that?
Well, for example, if a man has no money, he can't afford a car, a house, or a bride price. So he can't get married and that's why he's left behind.
And what about women?
For women, I think if that man doesn't have money, the woman doesn't look at him. If the man does have money, they don't look at that woman. Haha. It's a case of being too high to aim for and too low to settle for. This naturally leaves them behind.
为什么现在很多年轻人越来越不想结婚了？
Why do many young people not want to get married these days?
To be honest, I don't want to get married either.
What's the reason?
Because honestly, I feel the pressure in life is so heavy right now and I can't make much money. It's hard enough to take care of myself. How can I think about marriage? Even though I'm a woman, I'm someone who likes to think from others' perspectives. If I were in a man's shoe, I'd think, wow, the pressure in society is so big now and I have to take care of aging parents, then get married and have kids. How can I afford that? I can't support myself, let alone my parents or kids. The pressure is enormous, and now to get married, you need a car, a house, and the bride price. Last time, I was talking to my mom and she said, if you don't have $1 million, you can't even deal with these things. But now I feel we're just ordinary people from average families. We don't have that kind of financial strength. On April 25th, the Ministry of Civil Affairs of China released marriage registration data for the first quarter of 2025. The results were shocking. The total number of marriage registrations nationwide was only 1.81 million pairs, a decrease of 159,000 pairs compared to 1.97 million pairs registered in the same period last year, showing a significant decline in marriage registrations. The marriage rate continues to drop and the public's dissatisfaction with the Chinese Communist Party is growing stronger. The public vents on social media. The proportion of wages in GDP is too low. It's hard to even support oneself. Getting married means living beyond one's means and having children immediately results in a debt of millions. You take too much surplus value from economic production, leaving ordinary people with too little wealth while the cost of living is too high. So we just don't have kids anymore.
我最讨厌的就是穷人还要去生育。
What I hate the most is that poor people still go on to have children.
What if our generation doesn't get married and have kids? What about the increasingly severe aging population problem?
Why should I care? I don't think it has anything to do with me. I'm 23 years old. I studied fashion management at Beijing Institute of Technology. I'm anti-marriage and I absolutely won't have children.
Why do you have such a firm stance?
Getting married means a lot of things and the pressure of survival is huge. What I hate the most is that poor people still have children because it results in a child who might feel inferior and will spend their life trying to heal from all their experiences.
Have you experienced any economic hardships?
There are a lot of helpless moments and sometimes parents also pressure you to meet certain standards.
But look at our parents' generation. They weren't wealthy, but they raised us. Could it be that we are overthinking how difficult it is to raise children?
Their generation had a lot of benefits and even their parents glorified hardships, but I don't think that's right.
Aren't you worried about being lonely when you get old?
What's there to worry about? You've already lived 50 years. What's wrong with enduring a little hardship for the next 20 years? With China's economy continuing to decline and survival pressures increasing, high housing prices, children's education costs, and rising living expenses are making many people hesitate to marry. The student from Beijing Institute of Technology in the video expressed her opinion that she cannot accept poor people having children, which resonated with many people. They said the girl is very insightful. If life is already hard for oneself, why bring the next generation into the world? In fact, the number of marriage registrations in mainland China has been steadily declining since 2018, with no signs of recovery. According to the Ministry of Civil Affairs, the national marriage registration number in 2024 was 6.1 million pairs, a 20.5% drop compared to 7.7 million pairs in 2023. This is the largest drop since records began in 1978, reflecting young people's indifferent attitude towards marriage. Consequently, the wedding industry has also been severely impacted. Ahead of China's May Day holiday this year, videos circulating on social media showed several shops in the wedding district of Wuhan closed, with rental ads plastered on the glass doors. Recently, Mr. Gao, a real estate agent in Wuhan, told Radio Free Asia that some young people don't want to get married now because the pressure that comes with marriage is so great, which is why the wedding market is so quiet. Wuhan resident Miss Peng shared that Yangtze Street in Wuhan, which used to be full of wedding shops, is now eerily quiet. She mentioned how tough it is to find even temporary work these days, and many people just can't afford to raise kids. She added that the only places still crowded are hospitals, where you even have to go through a security check just to get in. The avoidance of marriage by young people is not only a personal choice, but also a reflection of the broader societal and economic difficulties. On April 26, Mr. Yi Fuxian, one of the leading experts on China's population issues and resides in the United States, posted on X platform stating that China's marriage rate has plummeted by 20.5% in 2024, which means birth will drop from 9.54 million in 2024 to 7.3 to 7.8 million this year. The marriage rate dropped another 8.1% in the first quarter, and if this trend continues, the total number of marriages for the year could be as low as 5.6 million pairs, which would lead to about 7 million births next year. Mr. Yi warned that if the trade war continues, economic uncertainty could further suppress the willingness to marry and have children. The decline in marriage rates may worsen in the second to fourth quarters of 2025. However, even if the trade war eases, both marriage and birth rates are unlikely to recover in the short term, as China faces deeper issues. First, young people can't afford homes. For many young men and women about to enter married life, a home for the couple is something built with real money. I'm really tired. If we can't come to an agreement on the marriage home, then let's break up. This is a voice message from the fiancé of Mr. Kai, who lives in Wuhan. The severe pandemic didn't break their love, but a thin property ownership certificate did. Mr. Kai said, "We both come from ordinary families, and my monthly salary is just a bit over 10,000 yuan. I just wanted to buy a 2-bedroom apartment near the subway, but her family insists that we must buy a school district apartment for the children. When it comes to the down payment, they think the man should pay more than 60% of the cost." In the end, Mr. Kai didn't try to salvage the relationship. Among young people still in relationships, more than 60% have set on one requirement for marriage: having a home. The main reason given for refusing to marry without owning a home includes lack of security, considerations for children, and being tired of moving. To get married and live a quality life, buying a home is a necessary condition. Moreover, over 70% of women think having a home is more important than having love. 26-year-old Miss Yue works in the legal department of a well-known company in Shenzhen. She said that the biggest practical significance of a marriage home is to show both parties financial foundation. Love without a financial foundation will eventually lead to one or both parties compromising. For her, if marriage means lowering her current standard of living, she'd rather stay single. The second reason is the poor job market. In recent years, the unemployment rate has remained high, with many businesses closing down and many college graduates becoming unemployed immediately after graduation. Even those who have jobs may face layoffs at any time. Young people are feeling the economic pressure, leading them to delay marriage. Especially with the recent US-China trade war, many Chinese export companies dependent on the US market are facing difficulties. Orders in industries such as home appliances, furniture, toys, and clothing have nearly come to a halt, and some companies are going bankrupt due to the unbearable cost pressures. Industries that rely on these sectors are experiencing a domino effect, leading to a chain collapse. The difficulty of finding jobs and young people's refusal to marry and have children is a way for China's youth to tell the government no through their actions. If the trade war continues into 2025, China could face millions of workers losing their jobs. Young people losing their jobs naturally find it even harder to bear the cost of relationships and marriage. The third reason is a high cost of raising children, which makes young people afraid and unwilling to have children. The average cost of raising a child from birth to a bachelor's degree is approximately 680,000 yuan. This does not include additional costs such as medical care, housing, and weddings. In contrast, in 2023, the per capita disposable income for urban residents in China was about 52,000 yuan. The huge gap between income and child-rearing cost has created a massive pressure for many young people. The cost of raising children is not just a financial burden, but also includes time and opportunity cost. For example, women may need to reduce their working hours during child rearing, which can even impact their career development. These combined factors lead many young people to choose to delay or even abandon having children. The fourth reason is that today's youth have a very clear view of life. The first priority is survival, and only after that do they consider so-called family happiness. To ensure a future workforce, the government has been encouraging young people to have children. However, young people believe this perspective is wrong from the start. They know they must first be responsible for their own lives. They do not want themselves or future generations to also be exploited by the government. They prefer a simpler, more laid-back lifestyle, and some have even openly told the government authorities, "We are the last generation, there is no next generation." Many young people have recently become disillusioned with China's system. Accumulating public dissatisfaction has led to the rise of lying flat, which means not buying a house, not buying a car, not getting married, not having children, and not consuming. The CCP's policies are only aimed at maintaining its rule and cannot address the deep-rooted problems, making it difficult to stop young people from continuing their lying flat lifestyle. It's worth noting that an attempt to encourage marriage, many regions have launched marriage registration cross-province pilot programs, with some places offering financial rewards for couples who register their marriage. However, young people have not been swayed by the Chinese government's series of policies, as they have failed to give them confidence in achieving their goal of starting a family. According to the 7th National Census, there is a gender imbalance in the marriageable population, with 17.52 million more men than women in the 20 to 40 age group. These structural problems largely determine the future population trends in China. The postponement of the average age of first marriage is also an important factor. According to census data in 2010, the average age of men's first marriage was 26, and for women it was 24. By 2020, the average age of men's first marriage had risen to 30, and for women it had risen to 28. In response to the public's reluctance and in an attempt to solve the population decline, in recent years, local government have introduced direct economic incentives such as marriage red envelopes and cash rewards to encourage first-time marriage registrations. Since April 2023, the Shangyu district of Shaoxing City have been giving all newly married couples who register in the district a new marriage gift package worth 1,000 yuan, which includes vouchers, health check packages, and cultural tourism discounts. In August 2023, Changshan County in Chuzhou City launched the Early Marriage Incentive Program, offering 1,000 yuan cash reward for couples who are both first-time marriage registrants, with the women being 25 years old or younger and at least one of the couple being a resident of Changshan. Starting from this year, Luliang City offers a 1,500 yuan cash reward to first-time marriage registrants, where the woman is 35 years or younger. Recently, a village in Guangzhou introduced a reward policy where the first-time marriage couples, with one or both parties being village shareholders, can receive up to 40,000 yuan in rewards. This is the highest reported amount for village-level policies. Although these high cash rewards sound tempting, there is widespread doubt in society about whether they will truly stimulate young people's willingness to marry and have children. Comments from people in the comment section include, "Is this real welfare or a new trick? Now the marriage reward is 40,000 yuan. Will we have to pay 80,000 yuan when we divorce? Why not just give us a partner? I've been chatting with a female friend for 3 years and haven't met her in real life yet." Reducing housing prices by 10,000 yuan is more effective than a 100,000 yuan marriage reward. Can giving money to reward marriage solve the population crisis? Some people even say that local government's cash reward policies for marriage seems like a promotion for marriage, as if marriage is a limited time group purchase event. Who would gamble their life on this little money? Unless they are forced by life to rely on cash-back marriage to maintain basic living, but in such marriages, how much love is left? However, this model may exacerbate a regional inequality. Wealthy areas can offer generous rewards to attract people, while poorer areas cannot follow suit, leading to a vicious cycle of population loss. These policies lack support from central government finances and are reliant on short-term local efforts, making them unsustainable. In the face of the population crisis, the CCP not only encourages marriage, but also encourages childbirth. In this year's government work report, Premier Li Qiang proposed to develop policies to promote fertility and issue subsidies for raising children. Recently, various regions have introduced new so-called improved fertility policies. For example, in Hohhot, Inner Mongolia, the subsidy for the third child has been greatly increased to 100,000 yuan. In Ningxia, the marriage leave has been increased from 10 days to 13 days. Maternity leave has been extended to 60 days. And parents of children aged 0 to 3 years can enjoy 10 days of parental leave. Despite the Chinese government's successive policies to encourage fertility, they have not succeeded in increasing the birth rate. Population experts believe that these various fertility stimulation measures are too late and should have ended the family planning policy in 1991. On the other hand, fertility policy should provide real support, such as many working women facing discrimination or being forced to leave their jobs after pregnancy or childbirth. Even though there is a policy guaranteeing 98 days of paid maternity leave, its implementation is insufficient. Behind the continued decline in marriage and birth rates, what urgent crisis lies ahead? Mr. Yi Fuxian told the American media that as the population decreases, it's accompanied by rapid aging, a decline in economic vitality, and a societal crisis from rapid aging, such as a social security crisis, retirement age issues, the decline of China's manufacturing sector, and shrinking consumption, which will have a huge impact on the economy, society, and geopolitics. A declining population also means China's demographic dividend is over, further dragging down economic vitality. By 2035, China's population over 60 years old is expected to increase from about 280 million to over 400 million, exceeding the total population of the United States. Aging is like a chronic disease for an economy. The proportion of young and middle-aged workers is shrinking, while the proportion of elderly people who need to be supported by society is increasing. This leads to an expanding pension gap and heavy social burdens, making it even harder for young people to live, further reducing their willingness to have children. Moreover, elderly people are less willing to consume, weakening economic vitality, and society falls into a vicious cycle.